here is Bryce Henson and Jake Stewart, your host of the Fit Life Orange County.
Hey friends, welcome back to another amazing episode. I'm Coach Bryce, your co-host of the Fit Life Orange County and the co-owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. And today I'm going to be talking about the value of a routine, specifically a morning routine that will help with your fitness and that will help with your overall efficiency in life. And as I was putting together my tips and strategies of my daily routine, where I'm going to showcase to you, and then also some recommendations how you can model the same, which will help with your fitness and your overall efficiency, I was thinking back to the days of my college career. And I'm an early riser right now, but it was not the case at all. In fact, I remember, I want to say my junior year, I read this quote by Benjamin Franklin. It said something like this: early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I thought to myself, that spoke with a lot of wisdom. Although candidly, I did not do anything about it until probably a handful of years after I graduated and got into the working world, when I really wanted to step up and level up my game. But in any case, to kind of give you some preface here, going through high school, but even before I read that quote, as I enrolled in college, I thought to myself, shoot, in high school, my classes started and ended early. I can do the same thing here for school, where I can enroll 8 o'clock classes and be done by 11 a.m. And that was a big mistake. And I just want to showcase this just to show some vulnerability, because what I realized is in high school, you're staying at home with my mom and parents, whereas in college, you're at the dorm room hanging out with college kids until all hours of the evening. So there was no way on a normal schedule I hit my 8 o'clock alarm clock. So that all said, I made the adjustment and I scheduled my classes, at different times. But my senior year, there was a final senior year class that started at 8 o'clock. It was non-negotiable. You've probably been there, especially if you've been to college or your kids are in college. And sometimes the classes that work out the way they do. So aside from my freshman year, which I vowed never to take an early class again, as it turns out my senior year I had to. And it was a marketing or advertising class. I don't even remember the project, if you can believe. This is in 2004. So a little bit of time ago. But I do remember the professor, he did us a solid. He was very clear. He said half the grade of the whole class is going to be based on the final presentation. So literally, you can do everything perfect until the very end. But if you fail the presentation, if you miss the presentation, which is group work, guess what? You're not going to pass the class. So check. Got that. So in any case, off we went and worked throughout the course of the semester with my group. And we were, working towards the final senior project, and we're doing a good job. And the last couple of weeks, it got even more intense. The final presentation was coming, and I was a little bit behind schedule. In fact, the last couple of days, I realized, holy smokes, I need to put a full court press on this. So I did. And even to the very last day, the final hour, gotta love it. This is old version 1.0 Bryce. I procrastinated, just like many college kids do, and it was a full court sprint for me to finalize my piece of the presentation, the group presentation that was going to start at 8 a.m. the following day. And 10 o'clock turned to 11 p.m., 11 turned to midnight, and I still had a lot of work to do. 1 o'clock turned to 2. I'm getting tired, but I needed to gut through because I realized I need to pass and graduate. And if you can believe, at 5:30 a.m., which is about 2.5 hours before my group presentation started, I finally finished my portion and I was ready. But then this great idea, which was actually a horrible idea, entered my mind. I was like, oh, it's 5:30. I finished about an hour and a half before I need to get up, shower, and get off to class. Since I'm so tired, I probably can take a 90-minute nap right now. Then that way I wake up after a little shut-eye, refreshed, take a shower, out of the door I go, and I can get to my 8 o'clock class. So that was the plan. And my friends, I still don't know what happened to this day, but I laid my head down. I set my alarm, what I thought to be 7 a.m., probably was 7 p.m. And before you know it, when I'm thinking I'm going to get up at 7 o'clock, all of a sudden I hear is this, boom, boom, boom. And literally I wake up, I look at my clock, and it's 8:20, which is 20 minutes after the class has even started. So as you would imagine, I'm in panic mode. I look at my phone. There's tons of missed calls from my group in my or for my group. And then I'm like thinking, who is knocking on my door right now? So I go up to my door, and as it turns out, my friend Anthony saves the day. He's like, Bryce, get your butt in the car right now. I'm dropping you to class. At this point, I'm so confused. Anthony's not even in my class. I'm like, how the heck is this guy picking me up and driving me a mile on campus to drop me off? But he did. I followed his orders. Give me 2 minutes. I literally put some Listerine in, put some change of clothes. I grabbed my bag and off to the races, and out the doors we went. And ended up getting there about 8:45. Now, thankfully, we were not the first presentation. As you would imagine, my team was not happy with me. However, I will say that I arrived 15 minutes before our group presentation was about to start. And it wasn't pretty. It wasn't the best presentation ever. I probably still had some bedhead and was disheveled, but was able to execute the presentation and pass the class. So I share this story. It was a very traumatic situation, but it really woke my eyes up to the power of routine, to the power of putting myself in an efficient regimen, because if you don't, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. And that was the big takeaway from that experience. So that all said, I'm going to give you my routine and some action steps that will hopefully help you on your fitness journey and your efficiency journey. Now, before I do, I want to preface, okay? Doesn't matter how lack of discipline you've been in the past, just like me, Bryce 1.0, you can change in an instant. So I want you to realize that out with the old, in with the new. When you set your mind to it, you can change yourself and increase your discipline, increase your efficiency and your routine in an instant. I also want to encourage you, you do you. I'm going to share what works for me, but ultimately everyone's a little bit different. I understand that, but I'm going to highly encourage you to stick what works for you and then stick to that process. I'm also going to recommend, if you're a night owl, which I hear all the time from clients, you can also do you, but I want you to be honest with yourself, because sometimes people say, oh, I'm a night owl. And then really what they're doing later in the evening is they're binging on Netflix and watching things that are not productive when they really need to be sleeping. I do have a friend in the fitness industry, very, very successful, that he's legitimately a night owl. He's very productive. His regimen starts much later than I is, but he's very productive. So it can happen, but I would say on average, most people are not super productive in the evening or late in the evening. So get some shut-eye. That's going to make you feel way better. It's going to allow you to get up earlier and get a jump on your day, as my Siri just agreed with me. So just be honest with yourself, and that way you can be productive. And then lastly, know that this is evolution. If you look at my routine, you're like, there's no way I can possibly do that. Maybe you're right for tomorrow, but you can build off that. My regimen has gotten tighter and tighter on a quarterly and annual basis. What my regimen is today was very different and more tighter and cleaner and more efficient than what it was 5 years ago. Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that began my fitness journey as a fitness transformation. Now, you see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and I lacked lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increased my self-confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life on life's terms. Now, it's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. Now, in fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee, yes, guarantee, that you'll lose at least 10 pounds within 6 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now, go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now, thanks, and back to the show. All right, so that all said, here's my routine. Number one, it starts the day and the evening before. I always check my agenda. I always check my schedule, and I plan out my day well in advance so that way I'm not waking up trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I already know that to be true, okay? I also set a bedtime alarm, okay? 8:30 p.m. is when my bedtime alarm goes off, and that way I know I have to get in bed, and then I'm asleep by 9 o'clock, which is really important because the wake-up alarm comes off, starts ringing at 4:30 a.m., and off to the races I go. I will have you note, though, while I would like to say I'm a high-energy guy and I'm chipper, I don't wake up that way. I'm like cross and unmotivated. It takes me a little bit of time to get the juices flowing, the blood pumping, but that's really important to know. So that way, if you think you're not a morning person, well, probably no one is. I'm not, but I do attack the day, and that's really, really benefited my life. Now, speaking of getting the blood moving and getting going, I work out at 5:15 every single morning. Now, there's two types of days. There's the days I go to boot camp, which I go to 5:15 session at Mission Viejo Fit Body. There's other types of days where I have a home gym, and the reason that is I live a half an hour north of Mission Viejo Fit Body because I'm also the CEO of Fit Body Boot Camp, overseeing our brand, as our office is in Chino Hills. So from my schedule and efficiency perspective, if I live next to boot camp, I'd be there 5 days a week. But since I'm not, the other days I'm working out my home gym. But regardless, I'm working out the same time, 5:15, so that I can get my sweat in. I'm done by 5:45. And then afterwards, I invested in a cold plunge, which is cryotherapy. Basically, think of it as a big bathtub with freezing water at 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I jump myself into the cold plunge for 3 minutes, which is an incredible machine and incredible benefits, which I will shoot another podcast and give you some insights on the benefits, which is I'll leave for another day. That all in mind, I'm at my office at HQ at 6:30 on a daily basis, and I don't take any other meetings outside the work that I need to do before 10 a.m. And the reason that is, in my position, later in the day, there's going to be a lot of fires and things that I need to handle. And if I don't get my personal time, my personal work time, my magic time done before 10 o'clock, then all bets are off. So my friends, that is my daily routine, which starts the day before, which is so imperative. I'm going to give you a couple non-negotiables and the takeaways for you so that you can model this into your daily routine, which really will set yourself up for fitness success. So my non-negotiables, these are these 5. Number 1, I wake up at the same time every day. I work out at the same time every day. Number 3, I do my cold plunge at the same time every day. And then number 4, I'm at work at 6:30 a.m. on the same time every day. And lastly, number 5, I don't take any outward meetings till 10 o'clock. And again, there's always some exceptions. Life happens, but generally speaking, that is my rigid routine, which has really benefited me, not only as your owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body, but also allows me to serve the brand, but most importantly, allows me to live the healthy and fit lifestyle, which is the foundation for any of the success that I've achieved. And that's why I'm so passionate about fitness, because it's the foundation for a healthier life, for a freer life, and a more productive life that you can add value to yourself, your family, your coworkers, and your community. So this all said, my friends, that's my routine. Here are the 5 lessons that I want to impart with you to really give you some coaching and strategies that you can impart in your daily routine. Number 1, pick a consistent workout time that works for your schedule and stay with it. Okay, most people work way better on a routine. Yes, at Mission Viejo Fit Body, we have mornings and afternoon sessions and morning sessions in the weekend. You have full access. You need to come either morning or afternoon, which is nice from a flexibility perspective, which is great. Sometimes you want to be able to take advantage of that flexibility, but for the vast majority of your days on a weekly basis, week in and week out, pick a session, stick to that session. You'll operate way better on a routine for sure. I say this with experience of over a decade and a half coaching thousands of clients. Most people, unless you're a rare exception, work way better on a routine. So pick a session time and stick with it. Number 2, unless you're an exception, which I just covered in rule number 1, you're probably not. I also recommend that you work out in the mornings. Yes, we have afternoon sessions, and they're awesome. And some people, their schedule will allow, or they're very regimented, and the afternoons work for them. If that's for you, more power to you. But if you're up in the air and either can work, I would highly recommend you pick the morning sessions. And the reason that is life happens. Fires happen, emergencies happen, and if you don't get your workout in the morning, you're increasing the probability of something's going to come up and you might not make your workout, or you might miss your workout in the afternoon. That's what I've seen over the years, and I say this because when I first started my fitness journey, I worked out in the afternoon, but after 2 years, I realized the morning is the way to go, and I had that availability for each side. It worked for me, and it works for most people. Number 3, reverse engineer your wake-up time, and then pick your bedtime. And what I mean by this is whatever time you want to wake up, pick that and then reverse engineer so that way you're going to bed at a good time. and I say this from experience, I say this from coaching clients, do not kid yourself. If you're trying to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to get the 6:15 a.m. session, do not kid yourself if you go to bed by midnight or 1 in the morning that you're going to be able to get up at 5:30 when the alarm bell goes off, or at least with any sort of consistency. So if you're going to wake up at 5:30 as an example, you need to be going to bed at the latest at 10:30 so you can get at least 7 hours of sleep. So highly encourage you to pick up that wake up time, reverse engineer at least 7 hours, and that way that's your bedtime. That's really important for long-term success. Lesson number 4, or takeaway number 4, join a program, aka Fit Body's a great one, but there's others as well, that you have your workouts planned for you, nutrition planned for you, and that way you have accountability so you don't have to think about this. And of course, if you're an exception, if you're a fitness professional that loves sitting behind your desk, programming your workouts for weeks on end, and you can do that way in advance, well then, hey, good on you. But the vast majority of people, what I've learned to be true is that they're busy. They have work, they have school, they have kids, they have a lot of stuff going on. So pick a program that has coaching, that has the regiment planned for you, so that way you take away the guesswork. You can just show up, be coached. I promise you, seeing thousands of clients be successful over the years, that works well, and that's my strong recommendation there. And last, but certainly not least, strategy number 5 to making sure that you not only start but stick with your fitness regimen is when you get off track, ask your coach. And of course, that's the value of selecting a program like Mission Viejo Fit Body or something else that works for your schedule, that has programming and also coaching and accountability. Because guess what? We are humans, human nature. You're going to do really well many times, but sometimes you're going to miss. And that's just part of being human. That's part of the human condition. So if you have a program or you have a coaching aspect at play, reach out to your coach, swallow your pride. Let's face it, we are here for a reason. That's why we built the program at Mission Viejo, for that reason. So that way, when you do get off track, you can get back on track with a hurry, and we can help you do that. So my friends, those are the 5 takeaways that will help you develop a strong regimen, a strong routine, and to get off the sidelines, get onto a fitness regimen, so that way you can get lean, you can get fit, you can lose weight and feel great, which is really what we're trying to do here. So my friend, I hope you got a ton of value from this episode. Assuming you did, my only ask is like this video so that we can keep producing this content for you for free. So that's all for today. We'll see you in the next episode.